Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the marijuana sector. So all of the stocks in the sector, or in this video, are in the marijuana sector. So first up, we're going to look at ticker symbol MJ. This is the Alternative Harvest ETF. Now this isn't a pure marijuana ETF. It has tobacco companies in it as well, but there are multiple marijuana related companies in this ETF, and as you can see here, it was bouncing today. So there was a nice bounce, and a bullish Harami reversal pattern formed. So this is a nice reversal pattern, so we can see if it will follow through tomorrow. Close above EMA4 is the big level to break. So it needs to break EMA4 at 29.46. So if it can get above that level, then it's the 50-day simple moving average at 29.83, the green line. It needs to get above those two levels to get a sustained bounce going. Okay, take a look at HMLSF. This is the Horizons Marijuana Life Science Index ETF. This is more of a pure marijuana ETF, pure cannabis company ETF. It does have very low volume, but it's following just companies that are specifically in the marijuana sector. And as you can see here, it had a nice bounce today. It did start off below that lower Bollinger Band. That's the purple line there. Today, a bullish piercing line reversal pattern formed. So that's a nice reversal pattern. We'll see if it can follow through tomorrow. It did close back above that 50-day simple moving average. It has to get above the gold and pink lines. It's the 100-day simple moving average in EMA4. Once it gets back above this 1390 level, that will be bullish. So we'll see if they'll have a bullish reversal confirmation. Okay, take a look at GWPH. This is the #1 pharmaceutical marijuana company in the world. And they're just really kicking. They have been doing really well with their. They got the patent going for the first CBD drug in the United States, and so they're in the driver's seat on that. But it did pull back, and it came down here and it hit some key support levels. Right now, it's bouncing off of the 100-day simple moving average at 133.95. Look at the big volume down here. This was when they got they just had good news, and then instead of getting above that middle Bollinger Band there, the share price pulled back, and so it has to get back above that level, back above 152, in order to get an uptrend going. Right now, it's trying to bounce off this 100-day simple moving average. This is the big level to hold. You can see that lower wick almost hit that. I mean, it didn't hit that, but it's in the vicinity of the 200-day simple moving average. That would be the next target if it did get below that 100. Now it's going to be really important here that it gets back above that pink line, which is EMA4 at 140.169. Once it closes above that, that'll be a signal. Okay, yeah, it did find support and it is trying to reverse. Yeah, this was a nice bounce here, but it has to stay above 134 and then break back above that 141 to 142 level in order to get a sustained bounce going. Okay, take a look at CARA. This had a big move yesterday, and then it formed the black candle. It had run up all the way up above 22, and then it came back down. It formed the black candle. There is still a gap between high of day on Tuesday and low of day here on Wednesday, and so I can move these resistance lines here. So that's the top of the or bottom of the gap, and this is the top of the gap, and so it needs to stay above this top of the gap level. It would be a red flag if it dropped below, and then right now it's pushing higher. It's writing EMA4 support here. That's the big level to hold. If it could stay above that level, 1794, that would signal more upside potential, and then what it needs to break now, it would be up here at 21. That was the opening price from yesterday. So nice move for CARA. It's got a nice huge volume spike down here, and we'll see if it can keep this good uptrend going. Okay, take a look at Scott's Miracle Grow. So yeah, this is it's not they don't actually ever touch marijuana, this company, but they do supply the fertilizer and grow supplies that are used to cultivate marijuana. And so Scott's Miracle Grow is one way to play the sector without playing a company that actually does cultivation or some other aspect like that of the marijuana industry. And so as you can see here, it's bouncing as well. I believe this is a part of the MJ ETF, and Yeah, it closed today above EMA's 4 and 8, so that was a bullish close. So keep an eye on it, you options traders. You know, call options are in play if it can stay above. If it drops below EMA 4 at 81.81, that's going to signal downside risk, and then it needs to break above EMA 13 at 82.75, and then up here at this 50-day simple moving average and 20-day simple moving average, they're converging here. Once it's above 83.76, that would be bullish. You know, you could get it working its way back up to this 100-day simple moving average at 85.40. You can see how it's been big resistance. You know, it's going to have to break that level to get a sustained bounce going. First things first, though, you know, it needs to get back up above 83 here, and yeah, we'll see if it can sustain the bounce here. It was on light volume, and yeah, it's trying to heat up. So keep an eye on Scott's Miracle Grow. Take a look at Canopy Growth down here. It pulled back. It you know, had that really nice move up to like the all-time new highs. And then they drove it down, and then it, you know, it had the sell the news on the Canadian legalization, and then it came down and it bounced right off of the 50-day simple moving average. So congrats to everybody that loaded off of that level. That was the technical level to hold support. And today, you know, it closed at high of day. Look how there's no upper wick on today's candle, and so that signals the bulls were in strong control all the way into the close. And so now the big level to break is going to be, you know, it basically have EMA 8 and EMA 13 and the middle Bollinger Band. All three of those are converged here at 30.89 zone. And so once it gets above that, you know, once you see it trading at 31 and above, just to make it a nice even round number, that should signal that it wants to keep pushing higher. If it fails to turn 31 into support, that will be a red flag. It is currently below that middle Bollinger Band at 30.89. It has to be above that level to keep this nice uptrend going. And so right now, what the bulls and all of us are looking for is this kind of move where it was above the upper or the middle Bollinger Band, the dotted purple line, and then it dropped below, and then it got right back above and continued the uptrend. You know, that would be the best thing here. You know, it got below, and then it gets back above, you know, and then keeps it going again. Because if it gets below the dotted purple line, which is the 20-day simple moving average, and then it stays below, then a new downtrend could begin. And unless you're a marijuana bear, you don't want to see that happen. Check out the huge volume down here. There's giant volume right now, so you know, they could have pulled this back to do some loading. I mean, there is, you know, dilution as well, and that is the big thing with these marijuana companies, is that they're selling shares to pay the bills. Now Canopy Growth, which is the #1 marijuana company in the world, they did form bullish engulfing reversal pattern today, and yeah, the CEO was just on CNBC and pretty much hit it out of the park. You know, they are dominating the world right now. They are in 9 countries, and yeah, they're just way ahead of the game. You know, they're thinking 2-3 steps ahead, and you know, they're coming out with a cannabis Ambien drug. So for Ambien, for a sleep aid, Canopy Growth is coming out with one that they're feeling pretty confident they're going to get FDA approval on, and so that's going to be a huge game changer. So they're getting in the pharmaceuticals, and then of course the beverages, and so yeah. So yeah, interesting. You should check that out if you get a chance to see that CNBC interview with the CEO of Canopy Growth today. Check that out. And so check out Cronus Group, ticker symbol CRON. Closed up nearly 4% today. Yeah, it formed a bullish Haremy reversal pattern after a 4-day pullback. And so as you can see here, I showed this pattern earlier. Haremy is you know, an old Japanese word for pregnant. It's you have the white candle inside of the previous red candle, and so yeah, it's a signal that you know, this is, you know, bouncing, finding support, and then it has to follow through. It needs to confirm, and we'll know if it's confirming if it gets back above that 50-day simple moving average at 659. That's the big level to break. It'll signal downside risk if that 50-day simple moving average turns into resistance. It could work its way down here and test that 200-day simple moving average at 569. So it's going to be real important that it gets back above. And then for Cronus Group, the big level has been the gold line. That's the 100-day simple moving average at 711. It's been failing to turn that level into support. And once it finally does, that'll be your signal, okay, it's finally ready to break out higher. Okay, take a look at Aurora Cannabis here. Okay, this is another top marijuana company. It closed bounced up 5% today, so it had a nice bounce as well. Now this ended up forming bullish 3 gap downs yesterday, and so that's where you have the multiple gap downs, and that's a pattern that's signaling that the stock is getting frothy to the downside, overdone, very oversold. Keep an eye out for a bounce sometime soon. And so today there was a bounce, and this bounce did confirm the reversal pattern. It looks like there was a gap as well between low of day on this candle and high of day on this candle, so it looks like the gap filled. And so for Aurora Cannabis, it's been the same level as well. It's all about this gold line at 723. You can see here it's been trying to turn this level into support and failing. And so once it gets above 723, above the gold line, the 100-day simple moving average, and turns into support, that'll be when it can head higher. And so keep an eye on that level. A close above would be bullish. Okay, look at Aphria here, ticker symbol APHQF, and this is another one of the top marijuana companies. It doesn't get as much press, but they are it's an interesting pattern. I mean, notice how it's been consolidating. It's been in the sideways channel here, so the chart's wound pretty tight. Right now it's at the bottom of the channel. So this is the bottom of the sideways channel here, and so it's bouncing off the bottom, and this is the top of the channel. You got the top, is this red line here, and so basically you've got the 200 and 100-day simple moving averages converging at 965 here. If you can get above both those levels, then it's this, like, basically I think it's about 1010 or so, 1020. It's this high close. Let me get rid of all these circles here, but it's this closing price here on the 21st. That's the big level to break. Once it gets above that, then it can finally head higher. But keep an eye on Aphria. If the marijuana sector is heats up and it gets moving higher, it would be really odd if Aphria did not follow. So yeah, and it formed the bullish piercing line reversal pattern as well, and that's a good reversal pattern. Many times that gets confirmed. Okay, let's look at MedRelief here. That's ticker symbol MEDFF, and so this is another top company. Very low volume. It doesn't have the volume or the exposure of the other companies, but it has a solid share price here and a large market cap. And it came down here, 4 red candles in a row, and it bounced off the 50-day simple moving average at 1905. As long as that level holds, that's the reload level, that's the bounce level. Now it did bounce off of it already, and now we're looking for a break above the middle Bollinger Band at 2079. If it can close back above that level, then this previous uptrend that started back here on the break above the middle Bollinger Band on the what is that, the 12th of April. That's a new uptrend started. The middle Bollinger Band support level broke here on the 26th. If that turns into resistance, then that's going to signal the possible start of a downtrend. Similar to over here, you could see on the 7th. There was a close below the dotted purple line. That's the 20-day simple moving average, the middle Bollinger Band, and then a downtrend followed. A close above, uptrend. And so now that there's a close below, this is at risk of a downtrend. So it's hitting that middle Bollinger Band right now, that 2080 level. If it can get back above, then we can get this old uptrend going again. If it turns into resistance and there's a drop below 19, that's going to signal downside risk. Okay, let's look here at, yeah, and did I say this? Yeah, this had a bullish one white soldier reversal pattern. So this is another reversal pattern. Yeah, this is another good one. It closed above yesterday's close, and then it opened above yesterday's close, and it closed above yesterday's open. And so this is a good strong pattern. Many times you get confirmation on this. And so another one to look at, this is an over-the-counter stock, is OGRMF. They've been talked a lot about being a takeover candidate, about getting bought out by one of the larger companies. So it pulled back as well, and it also had the nice bounce off of the 50-day simple moving average. Notice no upper wick. The bulls were in complete control into the close. Now, since this is over the counter, there's no after hours or pre-market trading. So it's closing at high of day, and so tomorrow it just needs to continue with that and push through the middle Bollinger Band at 416. Once it gets back above that level, that'd be bullish. If it drops below that 375 support zone, that's going to be a red flag. Okay, so let's look at NXTTF here. This is another one to keep an eye on. closed up 14% today. It's been winding tight. They have a deal, I believe, with Canopy Growth to supply they do the cultivation supplies and agricultural supplies, and so basically this has been trading, in this downtrending sideways type channel, and right now it's at the bottom of it, and so it's been winding tight. We've been keeping an eye on this stock. At some point, it's got to break out. It can't stay in the sideways channel forever. It's going to be all about getting above the 250-day simple moving averages, and so once it's back above 117, that should be the signal that it wants to head higher. And then if it gets above 131, that's the gold line. That's the top moving average on the chart, and that's also lined up with the top of this channel. Above that level, that should be the signal that it's finally ready to break out higher. So I would just keep an eye on this one. You might want to wait until it breaks above resistance unless you have some time. It's not quite ready yet, but once it gets above 117, it should heat up. Okay, let's look at XXII here. This is the last one in the video. Keep an eye on it. It's heating up as well. Look at that big volume spike last week. Huge volume spike last week. It's holding support. Many times volume precedes price. And so right now this is hitting the key level. It's all about that 200-day simple moving average, the red line. So if it can break above that level and get a close above, then that could be the signal that it finally wants to break out higher. So keep an eye on XXII for a break above 258, the signal it wants to head to the next level. Okay, thanks for viewing this marijuana sector video. Please come check out the chat. We've been, I've been charting and posting lots of information on these videos throughout these stocks throughout the trading day. So yeah, come and check it out during the market action while it's happening. Okay, thanks for viewing the video. Have a great rest of your day or night.